Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling a question that humanity has asked forever, but we're going to look for an answer in a pretty fascinating place, an ancient system from India that sees the cosmos less like a crystal ball and more like a roadmap.
This is the big one, isn't it? It gets right to the heart of everything we hope for and everything we worry about. Are we totally in charge of our own lives? Or is it all, already written in the stars?
To really get into this, we're not talking about your daily newspaper horoscope. Nope. We're going way deeper, into the philosophy of Vedic astrology, which is this incredibly intricate system that's been around for thousands of years.
All right, so let's dive right in. To even begin to understand how this system handles prediction, we first have to get a handle on what it actually claims to be.
So, the original term in Sanskrit is Jyotish, and it translates to the science of light. How beautiful is that? Right there in the name, it's telling us something really important. This is meant to be a discipline that shines a light on things, helping us understand the universe and, maybe more importantly, ourselves.
And this quote from David Frawley really hits on something fascinating. We tend to think of astrology as this niche thing today, right? But he points out that for ancient cultures, this was no sideshow. It was the central, unifying science that connected the dots between the cosmos, our bodies, our minds, the whole shebang.
So here's the big takeaway from the start. Jyotish isn't presenting itself as some simple fortune-telling game. It's really a massive framework for trying to understand our place in the universe and the cosmic energies that might be shaping our lives.
Okay, so if Jyotish is a way to understand our connection to the cosmos, how does it do that for you personally? Well, that brings us to this really cool concept of a karmic blueprint.
The main tool here is your birth chart. And in this system, it's seen as a literal snapshot of the heavens at the exact moment and location you were born. But this isn't just a pretty picture. It's believed to be a map of the karmic patterns you've carried with you into this lifetime.
And this ancient diagram is a perfect illustration of that idea, a kind of sacred geometry representing cosmic forces. That's exactly how you should think of your birth chart, as your personal map showing the energies, the tendencies, the strengths, and the challenges you'll be working with.
But hey, a map is pretty useless if you can't read the symbols, right? So to read this karmic map, we've got to learn the language it's written in. And that starts with understanding 4 different kinds of karma.
Okay, this part is absolutely key to the whole system, so let's break it down. First, you've got Sanchita karma. Picture a giant cosmic warehouse that holds every single action you've ever performed across all your lifetimes. It's massive. Next up is Prarabdha karma. This is the specific shipment from that warehouse that's been scheduled for delivery in this lifetime. These are the fated events, the tendencies you're born with. Then there's Kriyamana karma. This is you, right now, your free will in action. Are you going to sign for that karmic delivery, or are you going to try to send it back? And finally, Agamana karma is all about the future you're building, the new orders you're placing for deliveries down the road.
And once you understand those 4 categories, it brings us smack into the middle of our big question. We're talking about that age-old debate, fate versus free will.
This slide just lays it out so perfectly. Think of your Prarabdha karma, that stuff that's ripe for this life, as the cosmic weather forecast. It might say there's a really high chance of storms this afternoon. That part is your fate. But your Kriyamana karma, your actions right now, that's your free will. That's you deciding whether or not to listen to the forecast and, bring an umbrella.
So the system isn't really saying our lives are one or the other. It's not just fate, and it's not just free will. Instead, it suggests our life is this constant, dynamic dance between the fated patterns we came in with and the choices we're making every single day.
This whole idea of a dance between fate and free will naturally leads to another really powerful question. If we can respond to our fate, does that mean we can actively influence it? Can we actually, change our stars?
It's a totally logical question, isn't it? If your karmic map shows a super difficult mountain pass up ahead, are you just supposed to grit your teeth and start climbing? Or could you maybe find a better path?
Well, the answer within Vedic astrology lies in this concept called upaya. And upaya are basically remedies. They are specific actions, a direct application of your free will, designed to work with that karmic forecast, hoping to maybe soften the negative stuff and boost the positive stuff.
And honestly, this might be the most important insight of this whole explainer. The simple fact that remedies even exist in this system is proof that it is not purely fatalistic.
Think about it. If the future was totally set in stone, what would be the point of trying to remedy anything? There wouldn't be one.
So, what do these remedies actually look like? Well, it's a whole range of things, from the really spiritual to the super practical. We're talking about things like chanting specific mantras to help shift your own energy, or wearing certain gemstones that are thought to balance out planetary influences. It can even be things like performing specific acts of charity to generate new, positive karma. It's all about being proactive.
The whole goal with these practices is to consciously try and balance your personal energy with those larger cosmic forces, like the ones represented here by the sun and moon. It's really an attempt to become an active participant in your own karmic story, not just a bystander.
Okay, so let's circle all the way back to where we started. After going through all of this, can Vedic astrology actually predict the future? Well, as you've probably figured out by now, the answer is, well, it's a lot more complicated than a simple yes or no.
It seems this system was never really designed to be a crystal ball that just spits out fixed events. It's much more like it's providing a really detailed map of your karmic landscape, your tendencies, your probable weather patterns, the kind of terrain you're likely to cross. And the point of a map isn't just to show you the final destination, it's to help you navigate the journey wisely.
Which leaves us with one final big question to think about. Within this way of looking at the world, is the real goal to just know what the future holds? Or is it maybe to gain the self-knowledge and the cosmic wisdom that you need to actively and consciously help shape it